Colin Rubenstein, thanks for your time this morning.
Good morning, Dave.
You've heard that argument there. Tell me, why do you think this was the right move from Donald Trump?
Well, the deal was designed in the first place to stop Iran acquiring nuclear weapons capability, but the actual deal struck, of course, was full of holes. It was a very weak deal, and it provided Iran with great benefits as a sanctions relief, which has turbocharged Iran. It hasn't moderated the country. In fact, it's doubled down in terms of its regional aggression. The real flaws with the deal, of course, is that, contrary to what was said by our men, the IAEA has simply confirmed that they're complying with the deal as is, but the bar is set so low, and the inspection is not anywhere any time that President Obama once promised. It's actually highly limited. There's no inspection whatsoever of military sites, and of course there's even limited inspection of other sites. So Iran can virtually comply with a deal and still follow its pathway towards an almost inevitable nuclear weapons capability at the end of this process, because they're allowed to continue with advanced centrifuge research. There's a sunset clause as well.
I was just going to say, this really goes to the nub of the argument, doesn't it? Was the deal actually stopping Iran developing a nuclear weapon? Now, the IAEA, as you acknowledge, did find that, yes, it is complying with the terms of the deal. Do you believe this deal did prevent Iran developing a nuclear weapon to this point, or indeed getting close to developing a nuclear weapon to this point?
It's merely delayed the process, but it's made the pathway towards nuclear weapons capability not only possible, but highly probable. And the IAEA assurance is very limited. No one knows. And of course, the revelations by the Israeli Prime Minister last week, the cache of hidden archives, it shows that Iran lied about the peaceful purposes of its program. It's clearly a military program, and they've kept all the records intact. And for what purpose? So it's very obvious that this deal makes inevitable their progress towards the nuclear weapons capability. And of course, the same people who brought us the North Korean deal are pretty much the ones who have been negotiating this Iran deal. And the whole objective here is that this is too dangerous a rogue, revolutionary extremist country to allow the possibility of the most dangerous weapon in the world to fall into its hands.
So again, what needs to happen now, if this deal wasn't adequate, wasn't thorough enough, didn't include enough monitoring, didn't cover missile testing, is it possible to actually have a deal that covers all of that? Or again, can I ask you, is it naive to think that that sort of deal could be actually negotiated?
No, not naive at all. And I think, you've got to look at the full support for what President Trump has done in the Arab Sunni world, as well as Israel. And of course, those countries want Iran's missile program to fall within the deal. It wants a genuine comprehensive deal. It wants the sunset clauses eliminated, so it means Iran will never get nuclear weapons, rather than simply take a time out on its inevitable progress towards those nuclear weapons. And what we're in now, of course, intense bargaining period. It'll take 180 days or so for the sanctions to really kick back in. And despite all the bravado from Iran, as you said, its economy is on the brink. And it's very, very vulnerable. Of course, what it's done is ramp up its activities right across the Middle East. It claims it's dominant in 4 Arab capitals. It is building a front alongside Israel, something Israel says it will never tolerate. We saw the exchanges a couple of days ago when it shot 20 missiles into Israel without much effect. And Israel, of course, responded comprehensively. So there'll be a lot of talk from Iran, but it's in a very bad bargaining position.
Can a new deal really be negotiated in 180 days? I mean, the Obama deal took years to negotiate with the Europeans, China, and Iran, and so on. Can it really be done that quickly?
Well, no. The path forward, of course, is very problematic. There's no denying that. But leaving the deal as it was would have led to a catastrophic outcome. So we're on a better path, but it's up to the international community now to have a good look at the situation, and that would include Australia, to get behind the efforts to negotiate a genuinely comprehensive deal which achieves the original objective of preventing Iran's drive towards nuclear weapons capability and the catastrophic implications that would have for the region. Because the bottom line is this country is the leading sponsor of terrorism in the world. It's bent on dominating the Middle East, hegemony of the Middle East. There's a complete schism with the whole Arab Sunni world, who are completely on side with Donald Trump and indeed with Israel in this situation. So there's a real urgency here to get back to the drawing boards and to negotiate a genuine, comprehensive deal to achieve those original objectives. And the alternatives for Iran is to face the prospect of a prosperous economy, plus a verifiable inspection regime to ensure that outcome, or serious economic problems and the possibility of escalating confrontation and even war.
Colin Rubenstein, head of the Australia, Israel and Jewish Affairs Council. I do appreciate you joining us this morning. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks very much, David.